Step into the unknown with the shadow frequency and your host, Matt Wilson, as he takes you where the shadows hum.
Welcome to episode 94 of The Shadow Frequency, where we dive into the eerie edges of the unknown. I'm Juniper, your producer, and tonight we're unraveling a chilling tale that blurs the line between science and the supernatural. In the mid-1990s, a young inventor named Mike "Madman" Marcum claimed he could bend time itself, only to vanish into the shadows of his own experiments. What did he discover, and where did he go? Matt's ready to guide us through this vortex of mystery. Matt, you feeling the frequency tonight?
Oh, Juniper, I'm dialed in and ready to chase this paranormal pulse. Marcum's story's like stepping into a haunted lab where time itself feels unsteady. Let's get to it.
All right, buckle up, listeners. Here's Matt with the first half of The Shadow Frequency.
Welcome to The Shadow Frequency, where the strange hums just beneath the surface. This episode, we're stepping into the unsettling world of Mike "Madman" Marcum, a name that echoes through the halls of paranormal lore. In 1995, this 21-year-old electrician from Stanberry, Missouri didn't just dream of time travel. He built a machine to make it happen. His story, shared on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM, is a descent into the uncanny, where science meets something far darker. Picture a quiet porch in a small Midwest town, the air thick with the hum of electricity. Marcum, a tinkerer obsessed with high voltage, was experimenting with a device called a Jacob's Ladder, two metal rods sparking with arcs of plasma. But he wasn't just playing with sparks. He modified a CD laser to reduce air resistance, creating a continuous pulsating arc. One night, he noticed something impossible, a shimmering heat mark above the arc, swirling like a vortex from another realm. Curious, he tossed a sheet metal screw into it. For half a second, it vanished, then reappeared a few feet away as if it had slipped through time itself. This wasn't a one-off. Marcum became consumed, convinced he'd stumbled onto a gateway. He scaled up his experiment, craving more power. That's when he crossed the line, stealing 6 massive power transformers from St. Joseph's Light and Power in King City, Missouri. These weren't small components. They were industrial beasts wired into his home, causing blackouts across his neighborhood. The air around his house buzzed with unnatural energy, and neighbors whispered of strange lights flickering from his windows. When the police raided his home on January 29th of 1995, they found transformers scattered through his bedroom and porch, feeding a contraption that looked like it belonged in a mad scientist's lair. Marcum's arrest only fueled his legend. Facing jail time, he claimed he was building a time machine, hoping it'd land him in a psych ward instead of prison. But on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, his story took on a life of its own. He spoke with a raw, almost haunted conviction, detailing how the vortex grew stronger with each test. Listeners were spellbound as he described plans for a larger machine, one that could send more than screws, maybe even himself, through time. His voice carried a weight, like someone who'd seen something he couldn't unsee. By his second appearance in 1996, Marcum claimed he was 30 days from completing a legal time machine, powered by 168 electromagnets and a rotating magnetic field, eerily similar to rumors surrounding the Philadelphia experiment. He said he'd sent 200 small objects and even animals through the vortex, though he never elaborated on their fate. The electromagnetic hum, he claimed, was strong enough to open a doorway big enough for a man to step through. When Art asked what he'd take with him, Marcum's answer was chilling. Just his cell phone. Then in 1997, he vanished. No calls, no trace, just silence. Some say he stepped into his own vortex, lost in a dimension we can't comprehend. Others whisper of a darker fate. A coast-to-coast caller claimed a man's body was found on a California beach in the 1930s, mangled inside a metal tube, a device like a cell phone by his side. Could it have been Marcum, thrown back decades by his own creation? The air around this story feels charged, like the moment before a storm. What did Mike Marcum unleash on that Missouri porch? And what lies waiting in the shadows of his experiments? That's the first half, folks. Juniper, what's the vibe out there?
Matt, that gave me chills. I'm ready for more. Stay tuned, listeners. We're diving deeper after the break.
All right, Juniper, take us to break.
Whoa, listeners, are you feeling that eerie buzz from Mike Marcum's story? It's like time itself is watching us. What do you think? Did he crack the code to another dimension, or is something darker at play? Stick around for the second half, where Matt digs into what might have happened to Marcum and the shadows his experiments left behind. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all the major podcast directories. And visit our website, shadowfrequencypodcast.com, to listen to all our episodes and check out the Shadow blog. You can leave a voicemail telling us where you're listening from, and we'll feature it in an upcoming episode. And if you want to support us, you can buy us a coffee on the site to keep the frequency humming. Now let's open up the mailbag. I gotta hit the button.
It's time for the Shadow Frequency mailbag.
All right, time for the mailbag, where we hear from you, our shadowy listeners. Here's an email from Seth in New Mexico. Says, "Hi, Juniper and Matt. I'm obsessed with the Shadow Frequency. The new Shadow blog on your website is awesome. Such a great way to dive deeper into the mysteries you cover. I especially loved the Brushy Bill episode. It had me questioning everything about Billy the Kid." Well, thank you, Seth. We love hearing from you. Want to join the conversation? Send us your thoughts at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Matt, back to you for the second half.
Welcome back to the Shadow Frequency, where the unknown casts long, unsettling shadows. We're picking up the trail of Mike Madman Marcum, the Missouri inventor who danced with time itself, then disappeared. His Coast to Coast AM appearances left us with more questions than answers, and the paranormal pulse of his story still hums. Let's dive into what might have happened and why his experiments feel like a brush with something beyond our world. After his 1996 Coast to Coast interview, Marcum was on the verge of testing his massive time machine. He described a vortex powered by spinning magnetic fields, so intense it warped the air around it. He claimed to have sent objects and small animals through, but he never said what came back, or if they came back at all. The idea of animals vanishing into a humming void is unsettling enough, but Marcum's plan to step into it himself? That's where the air gets heavy. He gave out his address on air, daring listeners to check his setup on Google Earth. Then, in 1997, he was gone. No trace, no explanation. The Missouri State Highway Patrol never listed him as missing, which only deepens the mystery. The wildest theory came from a coast-to-coast caller who spoke of a 1930s California beach where a man's body was found, crushed in a metal tube, a cell phone-like device nearby. The story's chilling. Did Marcum's machine hurl him back decades only to trap him in a fatal paradox? Others speculate he was silenced, maybe by shadowy forces who didn't want his tech exposed. His experiments echoed the Philadelphia experiment, a supposed 1943 Navy project to cloak a ship that allegedly sent sailors through time. Could Marcum have stumbled onto something the government wanted buried? But let's pause for a moment of clarity. Not everyone buys the paranormal angle. Some argue Marcum's vortex was just an electrical anomaly, maybe a plasma effect from his Jacob's ladder messing with his perception. The vanishing screw? Could have been a trick of the eye or a spark-fueled illusion. His disappearance might be simpler, maybe he just moved away, overwhelmed by attention or legal troubles. No police report confirms the 1930s body, and the cell phone detail smells like a modern embellishment. Still, even this skepticism can erase the eerie feeling that Marcum was tampering with forces we don't understand. What makes this story linger is its raw, unshakable strangeness. Marcum wasn't a polished scientist, he was a kid from Missouri driven by obsession, speaking with a conviction that chilled Art Bell himself. His machines, cobbled together from stolen parts and listener donations, shouldn't have worked. Yet the blackouts, the vortex, the missing objects, they hint at something real, something that vibrates on a frequency we can't quite tune into. Is Marcum out there lost in time? Or is he watching, waiting to step back into our reality? The shadows he left behind still hum with possibility. Juniper, what do you make of this one?
Matt, I'm half expecting a vortex to open in the studio. Marcum's story is wild, part genius, part ghost story. Listeners, what do you think? Let's wrap this up.
All right.
That's all for episode 94 of The Shadow Frequency. What a ride through the unknown. Don't miss our contest. Stick around after we sign off for details on how to enter the drawing for May 10th. Check out our new website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com for episodes, the Shadow blog, and more. From Matt and me, keep your dials tuned to the strange. Good night, and stay shadowy.
Calling all Shadow Frequency fans. Enter our contest for a chance to win big. First prize, the Bigfoot book, the Encyclopedia of Sasquatch, Yeti and Cryptid Primates, the Real Unexplained collection. Second prize, Squatch Metalworks, Bigfoot playing cards, a unique 52-card deck with illustrations and facts, perfect for Sasquatch lovers. To enter, email shadowpodcast@protonmail.com with your favorite episode of our podcast. Drawing is May 10th, 2025. Tune in and throw your hat in the ring.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.